Now it's my great pleasure to invite Professor Dame Clare Gerada, our President of the Royal College of GPs, onto the stage to give her presidential address. Thank you, Clare.
Thank you, Camilla, and thank you, everyone. And yes, we're drawing to an end this remarkable conference, and what an amazing 2 days it's been. And I've been to sessions as far-reaching as the menopause, planetary health, and drug misuse, all topics very close to my heart. However, today marks a poignant moment for me as I deliver this final address as your president and a farewell as a college officer. A testament to the fleeting nature of time, these years have passed in the blink of an eye. The college has been my professional home for more than 30 years. It's offered me support, ideas, inspiration, friendships, and countless meals. But it's nourished me more. It's empowered me to take confident strides as a leader. Our college. For more than 7 decades, our college has been a steadfast guardian of progress, reshaping the landscape of our profession and touching countless lives, as you've just heard with that remarkable paper. It's raised standards and it's improved the quality of care we deliver to our patients, not just here in the UK, but globally. Our college is the voice of general practice, and through us, the patients we serve. Often, we're asked, what does the college do for me? And that question overlooks the Herculean efforts that drive positive shifts within our profession and enhance patient well-being. From advocating for the marginalised, as with the homeless, to pioneering approaches in end-of-life care and navigating the complex terrain of pandemics, it's remained as an unwavering source of guidance, training, and leadership. So instead, we should rephrase the question, what can I do for my college? I am proud to be a GP, and I'm proud to have been part of this institution. So please indulge me as I venture into nostalgia and gratitude for the journey that's brought me to this podium. My connection with college started when I got into drugs. Not literally, obviously, but however, when I put my name into ChatGPT, it said, Clare Gerada has openly talked about her drug dependence. So I must make sure that I rephrase what I say to, I got involved in caring for drug users. This was the early 1990s, and the HIV pandemic had spread from men who had sex with men to intravenous drug users. They were dying in droves, and no one wanted to care for them. I'd just moved from psychiatry into general practice. And as a GP trainee, I set up a barefoot clinic in a needle exchange scheme, carrying my doctor's bag filled with the paraphernalia needed to care for this group. Probably this would now be completely against CQC regulations, but I did it then. But I wanted to do more. I wanted to make the care of drug users mainstream, not just that delivered by a few. And the best way to do this was to join this college. And that's what I did. First as the South London faculty rep, then as a nationally elected representative, and using the power and authority of this college and all that it commands, we helped raise standards, develop competencies, design training programs and guidelines to help GPs manage this patient group. And through this work, we saved countless lives. And I'm so proud that this work continues, and it continues to save lives. I went to a session yesterday around whose business was it to care for drug users, delivered by Scottish GPs and nurses, showing a testament to the continuation of that work, which began in the early 1990s. Back then, our council meetings took place in the splendid ballroom of Princes Gate, adjacent to the Iranian embassy in Kensington. And in those early days, Steve Mole, who's our honorary treasurer, currently in Australia at Wonka, and Janet sat at the back of the room, perhaps resembling naughty schoolchildren. The legacy of one of the giants of our profession, Sir Donald Irvine, was still fresh in the seat that I occupied. And Dennis Pereira Gray, I don't know whether he's still here, was our president. From Princes Gate, via Bow Churchyard, Skinner's Hall, and now Euston Square, I took on roles within the college: Chair of Ethics, Vice Chair, Chair, and now President. And each role meant facing different challenges and working with different teams and groups, but each a fantastic honour to have done. For 25 years, I've served on our council. 10 chairs, 10 presidents, and 100 council meetings. Each one, and many debates about the future of general practice, and we're still having those, and yet we're still here. And the mantra akin to the end of general practice is nigh was repeated more or less at every council meeting. The most incredible privilege was to serve as your chair from 2010 to 2012, and to become the first woman to hold that position in half a century. I vividly recall my first council meeting in the venerable worshipful company of Skinners, nestled in the heart of the City of London. My family had gathered the evening before to celebrate my upcoming transition to this leadership role. During the dinner, a journalist called, seeking clarification on a few minor issues: my father's name, my place of birth, and so on. And as we said our goodbyes, he casually mentioned that the interview I had given him days before was now on the front page of The Guardian and spanning pages 19, 20, and 21. And also that all the mainstream media, including the BBC World Service, had picked up on the story. Now, returning to the restaurant after the call, my appetite vanished. And I took a deep breath. My thoughts were, what had I said? The fast-paced interview recounted my life, my beliefs, my opinions on the impending NHS reorganisation. And Gillian Watson, the talented head of communication, had been present. So I knew I couldn't have said anything too controversial. Later that evening, my husband and I went to Charing Cross Station to buy a copy of the next morning edition of The Guardian. And the headline, "Doctors Face Patient Revolt, Warns GP Chief," graced the front page, alongside a very small photo of Prince Charles visiting flood-hit Cornwall. Bit of similarity, where's Camilla, to today. An extensive article followed, spanning multiple pages and outlining my apprehensions about the forthcoming healthcare legislation advocated by the then Secretary of State for Health, Andrew Lansley. Legislation and reforms that were so large and so destructive that the then Chief Executive of the NHS said they could be seen from outer space. I felt anxious as I walked to chair my first council meeting. I could see many of my council members clutching their copies of The Guardian. They were all Guardian readers. And I worried, given that I still needed to go through the ceremonial but essential process of being voted in that day, that council might change their mind about electing me, viewing me as too outspoken. However, my concerns were unnecessary. They, council, were my bedrock and stood by me. The unwavering support and genuine care I received from them and from college officers, from Amanda and Steve and Janet and Iona and Mike, was an anchor during even the most darkest moment of my 3-year tenure. On that day, though, and at that moment, I feared for my survival as I was catapulted into the spotlight, not just within the medical community, but also in the public's eye. And that moment marked my entry into the realm of leadership, a journey where empowerment and isolation walk hand in hand. The challenges of leadership and its responsibility manifested in ways I could never have anticipated. A journalist from the Daily Mail wrote a particularly nasty and mocking piece about me just weeks after my father's death, calling me a two-bit politician and comparing me with my father. Oddly enough, my father had been his GP. And his headline, "What would my old GP think of his daughter's scaremongering?" And I tell you, and I tell him, my father would have been proud of me. I was even name-called on the floor of the House of Commons and called, "Oh God, that woman." But others praised me and praised this college for our courage in speaking out and for our leadership. And since becoming chair, I'm often asked, what makes a good leader? And you see the parallels between me and Camilla, who's also a very brave leader. The answer to a good leader may seem more complex than it is. Leadership is only sometimes born of meticulous planning, guided by a mentor's steady hand, or attending the right leadership course. It often springs from simple dreams, from a heartfelt aspiration to make a difference, from having the courage to say yes, even when details are lacking. My journey began with a simple dream of becoming a doctor, never understanding leadership's role in that journey. But in medicine, leadership is intrinsic. It's the art of leading within the consulting room, providing comfort to worried parents, deciphering the symptoms that point to an imminent heart attack, and orchestrating the symphony of care that is our duty. Our notion of leaders has expanded as we evolve beyond the consulting room. Leaders are no longer just those distant figures in the lofty corridors of power. They were people like us, Martin, Camilla, Margaret, Michael, Gary, Victoria, and many more of you in this auditorium. Leadership transcends labels and stereotypes. In my early years, leaders didn't resemble me. They were not female GPs from South London. But that's changed, and the emergence of a diverse leaders is a testament to our profession's evolution and the courage of this college. Advising those on leadership and how to become one is a challenge, aside from the usual advice of work hard and choose your partner and children wisely. However, there is more I can say. Like many of you in here, I'm an immigrant. Growing up as one, I navigated the intersection of continents, cultures, and worlds. The daughter of Maltese parents and born in Nigeria, I arrived in the UK as a double immigrant, a status that often casts me as an outsider. But this diversity, this richness of experience became my foundation. My father, back then a single-handed GP, was my guiding light. And even as a small child, he would take me on home visits to the then post-war slums of Peterborough. My toys weren't dolls or teddy bears, but a full-size skeleton and a tendon hammer. He kindled my love of medicine, teaching me that the essence of being a good GP is to listen, to observe, and to show compassion. And many of these lessons I've heard over the last 2 days in this conference. This legacy, this love for the art of healing, became my compass. Now, success, as we know it, requires sacrifice and balancing family responsibilities with professional pursuits. And that's a tightrope that many of us, but especially the women in this audience, have to navigate. But it takes hard work for everyone. My journey has been a mosaic of countless steps, leaps and bounds. And while my path is unique, it underscores the importance of determination, authenticity, and perseverance. In closing, I draw inspiration from probably the greatest woman that's ever lived, Marie Curie. And she said, "Life is not easy for any of us, but what of that? We must have perseverance, and above all, confidence in ourselves. We must believe that we are gifted with something, and that this thing, at whatever cost, must be attained." So as I bid farewell to this amazing college and the exceptional individuals that have been part of my past and present journey, I extend my gratitude for allowing me to serve. My legacy lives on in you as you carry the torch of leadership, empowerment and compassion for the next generation. Your challenge is to protect our profession for our patients. This you must do. Without GPs, we know that our patients will suffer, and they will struggle to find the care they need. But I know my profession is safe in your hands. So thank you.